Thank you so much for joining us on Highly Detailed News. We have with us today Gali Silver, who is an activist and wife of Amos Silver, who is currently being held in Israel awaiting sentencing. Thank you so much for joining us today, Gali.
Thank you, Kai, for having me. For me, it's such a big honor because I have an interesting story, and thank you for giving me the place to share.
No, absolutely. The honor is ours. I guess the easiest way to do this, let's just start with your husband's legal process and just kind of take us through how it all happened and how we got to where we are today.
All right. So basically, right now, my husband currently we just celebrated the 2-year anniversary of him being arrested, not sentenced, and it's very important to make it clear, arrested and not sentenced. So it means it does not get in like prisoners' rights the way that people that are sentenced are supposed to get, such as medical treatment or more than first relative visitation or like special phone calls. He doesn't get calls to the US, for example. We had to buy like an Israeli SIM card with a follow me app so it will call me to the US. All kind of little things that he does not deserve because he's arrested. And they are holding him to be arrested. Basically, they punishing him right now by being arrested instead of being sentenced or released.
Yeah, I guess they say he's waiting to be sentenced. What has he been charged with anything yet? Are they have they gone over the specific charges, or the charges still adding up or coming?
So that's what's kind of weird. So there are like the main charges, and then like they add in like new material all the time or something. Like he's arrested for like 2 years already. Like you were supposed to start this trial 2 years ago. Like you cannot say, oh, we have like new documents, we have new evidence, we have something. Like do something. You're not supposed to punish a person. Like in Israel, it's kind of difficult because like it's supposed to be you're innocent until you're proven to be not innocent, right? But in Israel, it's well, it's your fault. You're the criminal, and if you're not, you need to prove that you're not.
Yeah.
Like that's like the default. You are the criminal, and you gotta protect yourself, basically.
No, I'm so sorry.
Um,
That's incredibly unfortunate. Uh,
yeah.
so he made some news, and I guess we should just cover the more salacious argument. I guess he is currently the big one that they keep leveling against him is that he is a drug lord.
Is a
Can you
head of a crime organization.
crime
They're saying.
exactly go over how they're even beginning to pretend that this is the case?
So basically, I will explain you about the organization which called Telegrass, and it is still exists till this day. It's still running. It's my husband started it back in 2017 after he was profiled by the police years ago, and it was a kind of an act to force basically the government to legalize it, because in the beginning he would like post himself smoking bongs on like Facebook 10 years ago, which was uncommon at all. And he would post it on the Israeli police Facebook page. And people like got him on an interview back then on TV. How would you do something that's crazy? So he was always like the first one to break everything and like to change the whole thing and to think out of the box. And before it started on Telegram, people would like comment on his Facebook page and offer their merchandise, basically offer their weed. They would comment on his Facebook page and like put their ads all day long. And it would be like fake profile, but he would knew who the real identity behind who is it. They would be verified by him. If you want to post on my wall, I want to see who it is so I can protect the buyers basically. So you cannot trick them, you cannot scam them. If something happens, I know whose fault it is basically. So when he got to about like 5,000 friends and people always wanted like to be added, and like he didn't want to do it anymore. Like I can't do it. I'm one person. I can't remember all the identity. I don't want to do it anymore. And then he went back to the US. He was in Israel back then. And then he went back to the US and like, I wanna relax. And then a friend offered him, hey, there's this Telegram app. It's something new. And you can have like unlimited friends. You can make channels. You can do everything. And then like together they moved from like Facebook to Telegram. And that's when Telegrass started becoming Telegrass, which in Hebrew, grass means weed, and telegram, telegrass, teleweed,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah, that's clever.
So that's how it started. And other than being like kind of like a weed Amazon, like a mall that everybody can come and buy whatever merchandise they wanted, basically the main thing was to repeat like the alcohol laws, the prohibition, the, even like with Gandhi with like the salt, that you don't let us have salt, then I'm gonna give free salt to everybody, you know?
Right.
So something like that, like to fight
Yeah.
them and to spread the word, spread everything. And it is still the mission. And we're paying really, really, really hard and heavy price. But it's people like the politician right now. It's the fourth election in a row. Politicians are kind of like talking about legalization fourth time in a row. Then none of them doing nothing, but they're talking about it because they want votes. But they're
Right.
talking about it, but
The follow through is definitely not really there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your husband was arrested in Ukraine and then extradited to Israel. Can you go over the process? He made some headlines there, and that way we can just kind of cover all of that as well.
Yes, that was crazy. So I will start with the beginning. We had a friend in the organization, which he pretended to be an orphan. We knew him for about 2 years. He pretended to be orphan. That's what we knew about him. He has no family at all, and he's older, like 10, 20 years older than us. And he was single, unmarried, and basically like kind of like bitter. And we were very hoping for him to find the love of his life, etc., etc. And like they know that like if they would tell us or tell my husband to go for like, oh, let's get a lot of drugs or like really something criminal, he would not go. So they told him, basically they play with his heart, and the guy was saying that he has nobody in his life. And you see my husband, after working with him for 2 years and really admiring him and seeing the way that he is, he wants him, he's really the most important figure in his life, and he wants him to be his best man at the wedding. But the maid, the bride, basically, she's a Ukrainian lady, and her mother, she's also his age, and her mother is very old, and she cannot go on a flight whatsoever. So the wedding must be in Ukraine for them to get married, and he has no family. So he really wanted us, because we are his family, to come and be his best friend. And I was lucky enough to not go because my son, we just came back from a road trip to California. We lived in New York. My son missed school for like about 2-3 weeks. So I wanted him to stay in school. So I did not go. Yeah. And he went to Ukraine. 2 days, about 48 hours after he landed in Ukraine, it was 4:20 a.m. and they did it on purposely. It was like an internal joke of the police. They did it 4:20. They called this operation in Green Bear. My husband, like Dov in Hebrew means bear. So like Green Bear, 4:20 a.m. They had a lot of little jokes there, which is okay, but it's like so. So they broke in, and for me it was I was in New York, so it was 10:20 p.m. at night. They basically, I got raided by the FBI and DA. He was raided by I forgot the Ukrainian. It's like the KGB, but like a Ukrainian different thingy, like the KGB, but like a Ukrainian force thingy, with the Israeli police and everything. And he got his toe broken and did not get any medical treatment. Ukraine is a terrible, terrible place. It's a third world country, like in the movies that you can ever think about. They're so corrupt. You can buy everything. You can buy anyone. You can buy anything over there if you have enough money. So the Israeli police made enough, and the Israeli government basically, because what happened when everybody didn't buy from the medical cannabis, they lost a lot of money. So the government hated us. The police hated us because the police always have like cooperation with a real crime organization over there. So they have their own businesses that like the crime organization will have their own selling and buying cannabis and profits, and they pay off the police also. So our organization kind of broke it off. So whichever anybody who wanted to be a dealer only had to have an ID and to be like 18 years old and older and up, basically. So we kind of broke the market. We opened the market. We believe in like libertarian ideology that we should have a free market and people should have their own decision, whoever they want to buy from and whichever price they want to pay, and to have like the power, in the people's hands, not within like the monopoly of the government, basically. So it's much more than cannabis. It's like a liberation. It's like a freedom. It's way more than cannabis. It is a cannabis thingy because we cannot focus on everything that is wrong with our government and our place. But like we focus on cannabis basically,
Yeah,
and through that we
definitely.
try to fix like other things in the society that are broken. So the government did not like that. They spent over 14 million Israeli shekels, which is like in American dollars, would divide it by three. What about four something million American dollars they spent on this operation, which went on three states. It was Germany, Israel, and no, it was Germany, Israel, United States, and Ukraine. It was four.
Yeah.
And 42 people were arrested, including me. I was released after 7 hours, and the U.S., the DEA, and the FBI told me, "We're sorry. This is what your government doing to you, and stay in the U.S. Don't leave because we can protect you only here. So don't leave the U.S." But my husband is still in prison, arrested in Israel, in a foreign country, which is being abused. And we knew that's what's going to happen once he will get to Israel. So we try to fight as much as we can that the extradition from Ukraine to Israel will not happen. And because Israel did everything so illegal and so fast, like the Ukrainians weren't even prepared to extradite him. So when they took him to the extradition, they sent him only with two officers. And then like and they were wearing not a police uniform, they were wearing like a civilian. They were dressed up as a civilian. So when they got held at the checkpoints in the security, they had belt, they had gun, they have to show permission. Nobody knows who are they. So they got held at the checkpoint. And back then, my husband did not have anything about them except from his passport in his hand that they gave it to him, and that's it. So he saw them being held at the checkpoint. He turned around and walked away. And because of that, they're saying that he's such a danger to the society. They don't want to let him out to a house arrest in Israel.
I'm so sorry. I could completely understand the feeling of being so scared or whatever in a foreign country and just taking the opportunity presented to you. So it is
Exactly.
unfortunate that they're holding that so sternly against him.
That was on the last court date. He got another 150 days to be sentenced, arrested, and then after 6 months, five months actually, you can ask again to get sent to a house arrest. So we asked after 2 years, like let us go home. And I wanna clarify that right now, because of the COVID, Israel borders, all the borders, even the air and the land and the sea, all the borders are closed. Yeah. And nobody goes in, nobody goes out because of the COVID. So we were trying like, okay, let him go home. Even if he wanted to, he cannot escape. There's no way to escape. Why, he's gonna dig a tunnel like under the border? Like what? And that was an excuse that they used when he got extradited to Israel. They said that he's gonna run away, so they put it in the spaceship with the cameras when he had nothing, everything is plastic, like in the crazy, because I know he's gonna escape. He's gonna dig and escape. Are we like what? In like 100 years ago, how is he gonna dig? What he gonna dig? So like they did all kind of bad things with like such a stupid explanation and excuses that does not even make sense. And I'm so tired of it. He's so tired of it. But the thing is that they want to break his spirit, but they did it like so many times through the years to put him in prison, to abuse him, to the government to chase him, the police to ruin his life, so many times through the years. But every time they did it, he just got like a different idea and started outside of the box and comprehended. So don't you think maybe you should use him instead of just trying to fight him, and use his knowledge and his experience and his critical thinking? Like, it's such a shame. Like, he could help the government, and he could help the government make millions. And if it was like, even if he would do Telegrass in the US, right now he could be a billionaire. He could be a billionaire. Like Jeff Bezos, like I don't know, like he could be a billionaire if he would done it over here. But over there, they treat him as a criminal. And
no, it's definitely unfortunate that he is bearing the brunt of so many of their attacks that they are still profiting off of while they're still keeping him incarcerated. Mm-hmm. Can you go over where his case currently stands? And you mentioned before when we spoke that there was some legal changes and kind of how that was actually turning out to be a good thing.
So basically, because of everything that he has done and all the pressure and the politicians, they wanna change things. They want to get votes, basically, because it's constantly election after election, and nobody believes the results. So there's another election. but everybody's talking about cannabis, and right now, well, first of all, medical cannabis, it is legal before the arrest. But see how corrupt the government is. Before the arrest happened and everything, they made a new reform that made the cannabis for the medical patients, made the cannabis cost 3 times the expenses. Before that, they used to pay like the same price for no matter amount they would get on their license. Same price for everybody. If you got like 10 grams or if you got 100 grams, you gotta pay the same price. So if you got like a lot, somebody's gonna pay for you or something like that. So it works perfectly. But right now they made it for like per 10 grams, you're gonna pay more than $100 per 10 grams. And there are people that have over 100 grams in their license, they cannot even afford it right now. So a lot of people dying, they changed the whole thing. They changed the strain, they completely deleted the strain, and they don't even let you know how much like THC level, CBD, CBG, they don't let you know. They just put like, it might be between 10 to 20. It might be, you don't know what strain is it, you don't know nothing. And that's it. They like completely did something and they radiate the cannabis just to make profit out of it. And then they did the arrest, so nobody will have where to buy. They will have to buy from the government.
Right.
So that was their point. But right now, we're working with like, we did have some history that because of the government does see us as a crime organization, even though we are activists. We had some, well, it was a historical moment when like political parties basically got into agreement with like 2 or 3 other cannabis activism organizations, ones that don't promote cannabis like we, but others that like more like on the activism side, but like they go with trying to fight the politics, but we are more like as an activism. So we all finally got together in Israel, all the cannabis activists from all the sides, we got together and we got to like kind of a agreement with like the legal parties that if they will support cannabis legalization, then we will support them with our voters, with our voices. We're gonna vote them. So we have 5 already political parties that are signed, and this is like a historical moment because they see us as a crime organization and we're signed on it and they're signed with us.
No, that's amazing. Yeah. I guess just briefly, real quick, Israel is, I guess, fortunate enough in some ways to have lots more parties vying for control. And so that does force some coalition governments and some of those things. And so that gives you a little bit more ability to kind of work with multiple parties because there actually is. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on and giving us your story. It's been an incredible time. Where can people go to keep up with your story and kind of keep following along with your husband as well?
So basically, people can follow me on Facebook as Gali Silver. They can follow my husband's Facebook, Amos Dov Silver, DOV. And on Instagram as well. This would be, or on Telegram, which and my user is Gali420, and you can find me like the fastest on Telegram.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an amazing time speaking with you. We can't wait to do everything in person as well. So hopefully you stay safe out there, and hopefully it's sooner than later.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And we'll have a follow-up and we'll all smoke together.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.